The Tale of a Yangban, a privileged status without function. In pre-modern Korea, there existed a class known as the Yangban. It was not merely a social rank, but a socially recognized privileged elite comparable to an aristocratic class. Yet this status was not proven through wealth or ability. It was maintained through birth, custom, and the recognition of others. In a certain district, two neighbors lived side by side. One was a ruined Yangban, barely surviving by borrowing 1,000 suk of rice from the local government, just enough to keep food in his mouth. The other was a wealthy farmer, rich in land and grain. Yet despite all his wealth, the farmer was forced to bow and scrape before the Yangban at every turn, for the simple reason that he was a commoner. The Yangban, on the other hand, though desperately poor, refused to take up any work. Bound by his sense of noble dignity, he did nothing but read books. As a result, he was utterly unable to repay the rice he had borrowed and now faced imprisonment. His wife, watching this ruin, could not help but sigh. Being a Yangban isn't worth a single coin. When the farmer learned of this situation, he gathered his family together and declared, "The Yangban next door is too poor to repay the rice he borrowed from the government. This is my chance. I will become a Yangban myself." With that, he went next door and paid off the debt in full, in exchange for purchasing the Yangban's noble status. When the county magistrate heard that the debt had been repaid, he was astonished and went to see the Yangban at once. But the man now addressed himself as this humble one and bowed deeply like a commoner. Suspicious, the magistrate asked for an explanation. After hearing the full story, he admired the farmer's boldness, but also warned that privately buying and selling social status could lead to legal trouble. To prevent this, he decided to issue an official document recognizing the transaction. The magistrate then began to read aloud the duties of a Yangban.
Even when hungry, you must endure it. Even when cold, you must bear it. You must never complain of poverty. Your hat must always be adjusted properly, brushed straight with your sleeve. When washing your hands, do not clench your fists and scrub. Brush your teeth so that no foul breath escapes your mouth. When calling a servant, draw out your voice slowly. When walking, move at a measured, unhurried pace. Copy Gomunjinbo in characters so small they resemble grains of sand, 100 characters per line. Do not touch money with your hands. Do not ask the price of rice. No matter how hot the weather, never remove your socks. Even when eating, your attire must be formal and correct. Never eat soup before rice. When drinking water, make no swallowing sound. When moving your spoon or chopsticks, make no noise. Do not eat raw scallions with a strong smell. When drinking alcohol, do not wet your beard. When smoking, do not draw in smoke until your cheeks hollow. No matter how upset you are, do not strike your wife. Do not smash dishes in anger. Do not strike children or women with your fists. Do not curse servants as wretches. Even when scolding cattle or horses, do not insult the person who sold them. When ill, do not summon shamans. At ancestral rites, do not invite Buddhist monks. Do not warm your hands at the brazier because of cold. When speaking, do not let spit fly. Do not slaughter cattle. Do not gamble with money. If a Yangban violates any of these rules, this document may be brought before the magistrate's office for judgment.
Signed by County Magistrate Jung Sun of Songju, with the left overseer and the assistant magistrate as witnesses. After hearing all this, the farmer protested. "So this is all there is to being a Yangban? I was told a Yangban was no different from an immortal. If this is truly all, then wasting so much grain was an injustice. Please revise this, rewrite it properly in a more favorable way." The magistrate agreed, discarded the document, and began rewriting it anew.
When heaven created the people, it divided them into 4 classes: scholars, farmers, artisans, and merchants. Among these, the scholar, the Yangban, is supreme. Nothing is finer. A Yangban does not farm, nor does he trade. By reading only a little, he may pass the civil service examination. At the very least, he may become a licentiate. Upon passing, he receives a red certificate. Though only 2 feet long, it contains 100 things within it. It is no different from a sack of money. At the sound of servants shouting, "Yes, sir," he feels full without eating. He may seat beautiful courtesans in his room, raise cranes in his fields and watch them fly. Even as a poor scholar in the countryside, he may do as he pleases. Borrow a neighbor's ox to plow his own field first, summon villagers to weed his land before all others. If anyone dares to disrespect a Yangban or disobey him, even if ash water is poured into his nose, his topknot seized and spun, his beard plucked out by the roots, he has no right to complain.
Before the new document was even halfway finished, the farmer clutched his ears, shaking his head in disbelief. "Enough! Enough! This thing called a Yangban is truly outrageous. Are you trying to turn me into a daylight thief?" With that, he grabbed his head with both hands, ran off without looking back, and for the rest of his life never again uttered the word Yangban. Closing. The theme of The Tale of a Yangban, Yangbanjan, lies in its sharp critique of the Yangban class in the late Joseon dynasty, exposing their pretense, incompetence, and economic decline. Informed by Silhak thought, the story reveals the contradictions of Yangban society by setting its hollow sense of entitlement against the rising power of wealth. A satirical portrait of a pre-modern order under strain, the tale captures a moment when social status and economic reality no longer aligned. Through humor, Bak Ji-won exposes the imbalance between obligation and privilege concealed beneath the name of Yangban, and the rigid status system that sustained it. Today, The Tale of a Yangban is regarded as one of Bak Ji-won's most incisive works. Though once criticized for its coarse and colloquial language, that refusal to soften its words is now recognized as a lasting strength, one that gives the satire its force, even as much of its texture resists translation.